Hello everyone, this is the 15th video in the series on Poetics by Aristotle. So in this session, I will be discussing part 20 of Aristotle's Poetics. The text that comprises 26 different parts, but I will be talking about part 20 from the text. That is, actually it is devoted for grammar. Grammar means the grammar rules that a writer is supposed to be aware of once he is composing or writing a tragedy. For whole writing it is applicable, but here Aristotle mentions some component parts of language. Actually, the same like we talk in traditional grammar with the parts of speech and all. Some differences are there, variations are there, because of course we know the time that he lived, not during the time of modern English or anything, but as a whole language rule he gives for the sake of having better writing. So grammar, he talks about proper diction. We know how much importance he gives to diction. And language in general, that is for smallest elements, and proceeds synthetically to the largest composite factors of discourse. How these little small elements comprise or combine together to form synthetically larger discourses. And of course, we know a narrative is a kind of larger discourse. So we have to have an idea about the form. A writer should have some basic idea about the language and its structure. From the invisible sound and syllable to the entire poem considered as a unified utterance, brief but accurate analysis of the parts of speech. Now let us see from the invisible sound and syllable. As per our modern phonetics and many other branches, we have different ideas on sound system, production of speech sounds and all, syllable and other structures as well, the minute elements of language. But here Aristotle would discuss brief but accurate analysis of the parts of speech he goes for as per the rules and basic ideas of his time. First is about letters, second one he discusses syllable, then third one connective, fourth one separate particle, fifth one noun, sixth one verb, and seventh one inflection or case, and the eighth one is speech, that is sentence or phrase or poem. That's in general. First one, letter, he tells to be indivisible as sound. Not every sound but sound of this nature may unite with other of its kind to form an intelligible word. That is a unique sound which cannot be divided. That's why it is indivisible sound. And he subdivides it into vowel, semi-vowel and mutes. The first one, vowel, we know element having an audible sound without the addition of another elements. Most often like the same kind of definition we nowadays also we take for vowel. And the semi-vowel is an element as S or R, Z or R, having an audible sound when another element is added to it. It's not S or R, we'll have to take that S or R. That is A is already combined. There is another vowel is already combined to produce its whole. And then mutes means an element as G or D having no sound in its in and for itself, but becoming audible by an addition of elements that have sound of their own. G again the combination takes place. So sometimes letter as a whole, we have the letters in the alphabet. The elementary sounds differ in several ways. That's what Aristotle again points out by the end of that part. And then second one is syllable, a non-significant sound composed of a mute and a letter having sound. Letter having sound means a vowel or semi-vowel. And combination, GR is an example. GR with two different parts combined together without the A is just a syllable. GRA, then we can pronounce it as a whole part, as gra. Otherwise GR we cannot have it. So that is the importance of vowel. So these things are not something new to us because we already know these as part of our language study. But here Aristotle mentions these as the essential knowledge on grammar as well as language, so that the writing can be of an elegant kind. Then connective particle. Third one is the connective particle. It's a non-significant sound which neither hinders nor causes the union of many sounds into one significant sound out of the two or more others. Example, a single clause out of a noun and a verb. That is, know thyself. Or it is a non-significant sound like amphi, peri, etc. He tells these to be the example with the function of combining two or more significant sounds into one expression. That's as a proposition serves to unite its noun with a verb. So these are connective particles and how these act in a language. That's all what we have to understand. We can take numerous examples from Aristotle, even from some dramatic conversations he quotes there, but still we'll just have to understand what the important function of a connective is in some of the combination of the words. Now the fourth one is the separative particle, that sentence connective and a disjuncted particle. This non-significant sound which marks the beginning and end or division either at the end of the expression or in the middle. So that's separative particle. The fifth one is noun. Noun, as we get the definition as usual, the name word including nouns, adjectives. That is the main thing. Somewhere we have some different variations as apart from from the conventional present knowledge that we hold for. An adjective is never that doesn't come under noun category. Now we have it as a separate part of speech, but here he tells name words as a whole getting categorized as adjective also coming under the category called noun. And composite significant sound with no reference to time, no part of which is significant by itself. Name word, he tells that there is no part, it's significant by itself, there is no reference to time or anything. So he tells noun to be of such a kind. Then verb is the composite significant sound, again involves the motion of time. That means he tells walks, has walked, indicates not only the idea of walking but also time present or past. That's a very crucial or important feature of a verb, because it can give us this sense of time. And even then the tense we make use of, where the concept of tense or the provisions allowed by tenses to have the better idea or the very precise idea of the action. That is, walked is entirely different from has walked, or walks is entirely different from the actions taking place. That's time configuration of the action from when we refer it to has walked or had walked or will walk. So this is the way we know that. And then the inflection of a noun or verb is the element by which the word means of or to a thing and by which it stands for one or many. That men. See, inflections we know how one's basic word will be there and there will be some variety with some differences in its sound, or some part of it will be different, and it can bring some difference in its usage. That is, man is different from men because one is singular and the other is plural, or by which it indicates the mode of utterance. Example, walk is an inflection of the verb to walk. That's all. So this is an inflection. Inflection can be with an addition or a difference in some part of its being, its whole. Then we can see man, a and sound are different, and how one can refer to singular and plural. That's the main purpose of inflections even in modern grammar. And eighth one is speech or syntactic utterance. The last one, composite significant sound, which is a speech, sentence or whole utterance may be united in either two ways. One is it may signify one thing. The second possibility is that the unity may be brought about through the linking together of more than one utterance, and this linking together leads to the formation of discourses. After sentences, it can go to the level of having discourses even. So why we should not give much importance to these divisions is we now have in our English, modern English, traditional grammar, we have 8 parts of speech which are not even in the order, or which have gives us entirely different notion of the senses, entirely different, or somewhere at least those are different. So parts of speech we do not list out in this way now, and just we have to take in mind, as it is a part of Aristotle's Poetics, we can just find out the elements what he has to or he had to talk during that time. Not about these, we are not going to change the definition of noun or any other part as per according to his idea, which is somewhere, if you want to mention at this time, it is somewhere primitive, or it has a lot of variations at present as per our present tradition. Even it is even if we refer the the grammar which we follow now to be traditional grammar, this traditionality, his traditional time period is entirely even remote, and we do not have to follow those as the grammatical rules, but just have a look upon that. Then we will get how much importance even the minute way in which he had been taking care of referring all these, even the language structure, all those Aristotle has been giving importance, and as well as he was really concerned, or he took care to give instructions on every detail. It's not just about he tells that yeah, you have to do this and do that, you have to be perfect in language, and leaving it for leaving the readers or the writers for going to check out, or letting them go and check out some another additional grammar books or something. But as per his basic concepts, he incorporates all those in his very text. It's in his text itself, that is Aristotle's Poetics. So that's all with that part. Thank you.